Randy's head appeared over the edge of the basket. "You folks all ready?" he asked. "I guess so," Josh said. Randy untied the cables from the stakes, quickly scrambling into the basket, and removed the steps. He yanked a valve on the burner, and the flame shot up into the balloon's mouth. "Hang on to the sides!" Randy shouted over the noise of the burner. "There are hats in the duffel if your ears get cold." The balloon began to float up. Dink looked over the side and watched the basket leave the ground. They rose higher and higher. Things below them grew smaller. Other balloons were in the sky around them. Some of the passengers waved to each other. "This is so exciting," Dink's uncle said. "I didn't think there would be so many other balloons." "There are thousands in the sky on a nice day," Randy said. "3 of my best friends own balloon companies." "How you feeling?" Dink asked Josh. "I'm not sick yet," Josh said. Dink grinned. "Good. If you need to throw up, do it over the side." The 3 kids were thrilled to see birds flying past their balloon. Other balloons floated above and below them. Randy pulled on ropes that hung from the sides. "I'm opening vents to release a little hot air," he explained. "That lets me turn the balloon so you can see stuff all around us." "Hey, there's the Grand Canyon!" Josh yelled. "Yep, we're only a mile from the south rim," Randy said. The kids looked over the sides of the basket. Below them, the ground looked like a brown, green, and yellow patchwork quilt. Cars and trucks moved around like bugs. It got cold, so Uncle Warren pulled ski hats from the duffel bag. "See that red balloon?" Randy yelled, pointing over Dink's head. "That's my buddy Miguel. He has 2 passengers today. One of them is a kid a little older than you guys. When we stop for lunch, maybe you can say howdy." "Where are we going for lunch?" Josh asked. "I'm taking us to Blue Meadow for a picnic," Randy said. "Real pretty place. Most of the balloon pilots stop there." Ruth Rose trained her binoculars on the red balloon in the distance. At first, she only saw blue sky around it, but then she spotted the basket. She saw 2 men and a kid. "Oh my gosh!" she yelled. "What?" Dink asked. "You're not going to believe who's in that basket," Ruth Rose said. "Who?" Josh asked. Ruth Rose handed him the binoculars. "Who do you think it is?" she asked. Josh peered through the glasses. "Jumping jackrabbits," he said. "Is it a rabbit?" Dink teased Josh. Josh passed the binoculars to Dink. "Take a peek, Zeke," he said. Dink looked, aiming the binoculars at the red balloon. "It's Roger Good!" he cried. "Who's Roger Good?" Randy asked the kids. Dink handed the binoculars back to Ruth Rose. "He's the star of a TV show," he told Randy. "He has a parrot named Tommy. They rescue people and animals. It's a cool show." "I think it really is Parker," Ruth Rose said, peering through the binoculars. Uncle Warren laughed. "Now I'm confused. Who's Parker?" he asked. "Parker Stone is the actor who plays Roger Good," Josh explained. "He knows a lot of awesome karate moves." "Lucky Miguel," Randy said. "He's got a TV star for a customer." The red balloon went higher, so Ruth Rose put away her binoculars. Josh shared his energy bars. They all munched and enjoyed the sun, the sky, and the view. "I'm taking us close to the edge of the Grand Canyon," Randy said, pointing. The kids and Dink's uncle could see partway down into the canyon. The rock walls were red, yellow, and brown. "I'm going down there tomorrow," Josh gulped. "On a mule?" "You'll have an awesome time," Randy said. "A lot of my customers like to hike or ride mules down there after their balloon ride. And a couple of miles from here, there's a spot where a truck or jeep can drive right to the banks of the Colorado River. Then you get in a rubber raft and float down the river." "That sounds really cool," Dink said. "Yeah, and there's a great place for staying overnight," Randy said. "It's called Phantom Ranch. You sleep in cabins built 100 years ago." "Phantom Ranch is where we're staying tomorrow night," Uncle Warren said. "I reserved 2 of those cabins." "You'll love it," Randy said, "but watch out for scorpions and rattlesnakes." "Oh, no," Josh said. "Just kidding, Josh. Those critters are afraid of humans," Randy said. "They run away when they hear you coming." "I hope they run fast," Josh muttered. 200 yards away, the red balloon was floating toward the ground. "We're almost at Blue Meadow," Randy said. "When I tell you to, I want you to hold on and bend your knees. You'll feel a bump when the basket touches the ground." He reached up and pulled on a metal ring. The kids heard a hissing noise above their heads. "Now I'm letting out more hot air so we can float down," Randy explained. "We'll be on the ground in a few minutes." The kids looked over the side of the basket. They watched the land get closer and closer. Blue Meadow got its name from the millions of blue wildflowers that grew there. The meadow was at least a mile across with a gravel road going through the middle. The meadow stopped at the edge of the Grand Canyon. There was a fence so people wouldn't fall into the canyon. "This is lovely," Uncle Warren said. "I can't wait to photograph all these wildflowers." "I'm going to try to land over there by that stand of trees," Randy said. "I see my friend's balloon near that stream." He pointed to the red balloon, already on the ground. The kids picked out Miguel's balloon from a lot of others in the meadow. Trucks, vans, and cars were parked along the stream. Blue Meadow looked like a busy place. "Get ready," Randy yelled. "Hold on and bend your knees." The kids grabbed the sides of the basket. Dink felt his ears pop. They felt a bump, and some guys ran over and grabbed the basket. Randy threw ropes out, and the helpers tied the basket to some tall trees. Then Randy placed the steps on the ground. "Everyone okay?" Randy asked the kids. "That was so amazing," Josh said. "I'll never be nervous about floating in the sky again." "Nor will I," Dink's uncle said. "You're an excellent pilot, Randy." Randy hopped over the edge of the basket onto the steps and helped Uncle Warren climb out. The kids clambered down and felt their feet touch the ground for the first time in an hour. Randy's friend Miguel ran over. "What took you so long?" he teased Randy. "I've been down here 10 minutes. Randy lifted the rug and picnic cooler from the basket. "Who's that in your party, Miguel?" he asked. "The gentleman's name is Maxwell Curve," Miguel said. "He's a TV agent or something. The kid is an actor on some TV show. His name is Parker Stone, and he has a parrot with him." "I was right," Ruth Rose said. Miguel walked back to his balloon. The kids and Dink's uncle unrolled the rug while Randy began taking food out of the cooler. 5 minutes later, they were all sitting on the rug eating sandwiches and cookies. They watched as the helpers let the air out of the yellow balloon. Randy poured them lemonade from a thermos. The grass around them was dotted with wildflowers. Butterflies floated among the blossoms. A pickup truck with an orange rubber raft in the back roared past on the road. The tires blew dust into the air as the truck disappeared behind some trees. "That guy must be going rafting on the river," Randy told the kids. "He can drive his pickup down a trail straight to the water." Miguel ran over to chat. He and Randy walked a few yards away, talking and laughing. Parker Stone and Maxwell Curve were 100 feet away, having lunch on their rug. "Why don't you go and say hi to Parker Stone?" Uncle Warren suggested. "He's a big TV star," Josh said. "He'd never talk to us." "Sure he would," Uncle Warren said. "I'm sure he'd love to know you're fans of his show." "Okay," Ruth Rose said. "I want to get his autograph." But before Ruth Rose could move, Parker and Maxwell Curve began walking toward some trees. Tommy was perched on Parker's shoulder. They entered the woods and were out of sight. "Too late, Ruth Rose," Josh said, "but you can have my autograph." He whistled the way Roger did on the show. "I'm almost as good as Roger Stone." Dink and Ruth Rose laughed. A truck and a van arrived and stopped near a balloon about 10 yards away. Some guys got out, unhooked the balloon from the basket, and loaded both into the back of the truck. They rolled up the nearby picnic rug and slid it in. The balloon passengers climbed into the van, and both vehicles pulled away. Soon more trucks and vans arrived. Crews loaded the deflated balloons in their baskets. Randy strolled over. "Time to pack up and head back to the lodge," he told the kids and Uncle Warren. "My partner will be here soon to load up our stuff. 15 minutes, okay?" Just then Maxwell Curve ran out of the woods. His hair was mussed up, and his eyes looked wild. His nose, mouth, and chin were bright red, and his shirt was splattered with red stains. He ran straight to Miguel, screaming, "Parker's been kidnapped!" Dink realized the red stuff was blood.